All right, so this is the last video for Unit 2, which means we do have a unit test coming up very soon. It will be at the end of the week. Okay, so this lesson is not too bad. It's the idea that how do you solve an equation when the x is in the exponent position? In other words, an exponential equation. So if something looked like this, 3 to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 3 to the power of 5. Okay, now normally we couldn't solve it because x is in the exponent position, but there's some tricks that we can use, and I just have kind of two kind of quick notes to follow to solve these equations. The first little quick note, and I'd recommend like putting a star or highlighting these just so you don't lose track of them. The first thing you need to have is you must have matching bases. Okay, so must have matching bases. Okay. And what I mean by that is the main number has to match. If they match, then these questions are actually very easy. Okay. The rule is, I'm gonna put a little dash right here. If the bases match, then the exponents must match. Okay. So again, if the bases match, then the exponents match. So when we're solving these equations, if we can get those bases to match, then these equations end up being very easy. Okay, and let's take this one as an example, right? So 3 to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 3 to the power of 5. Now this one's fairly easy because it's already set up and ready to go. Notice they both have a base of 3. If we can get our equation to look like that, where the bases match, we're set. Because where the rule says, if the bases match, then the exponents have to match. So here's what happens. Because they're both 3's, you can kind of think of it like they cancel each other out. And we end up with this basic equation of x plus 1 is equal to 5. Okay, so very easy if the bases already match. All right, so the one we did is an easy example. And then you can solve this equation pretty easily. Everyone watching this video should know how to solve that equation, right? So we subtract 1 from both sides, and you should get x is equal to 4. Okay? But the key is making sure you get those bases to match. Now, they won't always match and be that easy, right? So there's got to be another little extra rule to be able to solve these things. So here's the second thing. I'll put another little star. Okay, if the bases don't match, okay, so if bases don't match, okay, then try changing the way it looks. And specifically what I mean by that, by changing the way it looks, we're going to change the way it looks by breaking the number down. So change the way it looks by breaking it down, which is essentially what we've been doing with the roots. So change the way it looks by breaking the numbers down. Okay, so for example, if I give you an equation look like this, 5 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 125. Now, obviously, these bases do not match. We have 5 and we have 125. So when that happens, try to see if you can break the numbers down. Now, I'll do it off to the side over here. 5 does not break down, so that's not going to help us. Okay. Now, 125, that does break down. We had a lot of practice with this, right? So two numbers that multiply to 125. Okay. So we know that 5 and 25 works. 5 does not break down, but 25 does. 5 and 5. So we can break 125 down into 3 5s. So what we can actually do is we can rewrite our equation to look like this. 5 power of x plus 2 and 125 we can change the way it looks. We can change it into 5 power of 3, because we see over here that 125 breaks down into 3 5s. Okay, and now it works out quite nicely, because now we have matching bases, so these kind of cancel each other out. And again, we're left with a very basic equation of x plus 2 is equal to 3. And again, you can solve that pretty easily. At least you should be able to. And you get the answer of 1. Okay, so when the bases don't match, see if you can break the numbers down to force them to match. Okay, let's do one more, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more work required. Okay, so what if I give you this one? Okay, so 9 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 27 power of x. Okay, so again, we don't have matching bases right now. Okay, now this time both of those bases can be broken down, so we should break it down completely. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down 9. 9 breaks down pretty easily into 3 and 3. So what we can do here, we'll draw a little arrow. 9 broke down into 3 squared, 3 power of 2. So here's what we can write it as: 3 power of 2. But then don't forget, on the outside, there's still a power of x plus 2. Okay, then we'll do the same thing with the 27. Okay, so 27 does break down into 9 and 3, and then 9 breaks down into 3 and 3. So in total, the 27 broke into 3 3s. So we can write it like this: 3 power of 3. But on the outside, still has that x. And so it just broke those numbers down. Okay. Now, based on the way this looks kind of strange, but we can actually rewrite it to make it a little more easier for us. Okay. So because these are all exponents, we could write this one as 3 to the power of 2 times x plus 2. You just put that in parentheses. And then sitting over here, we could write this one as 3 to the power of 3 times x. Okay. Now we're back to the same situation. We have matching bases, so these cancel each other out. And again, we're left with a fairly simple equation of this. Okay, and then we should be able to solve this equation as well. It's not too bad. Right, start by distributing that 2. Okay, so 2x, and then 2 times 2 gives you 4. And then we need to get the x's to one side, so we can subtract this x over here. Again, if it helps, you can draw that line, so you can see a left side and a right side. And we're left with 4 on the left, and 3x minus 2x is very convenient. Just at x, we know we're done. So hopefully that solving part's the easy part at this point. Okay, so just keep in mind the idea is to make sure that the bases match, and if they don't match, break the numbers down. If you need to, break both numbers down. Okay, if you can get them to match, then we're set. Okay. All right, again, so this is the last video for Unit 2. So expect there to be a unit test coming up very quickly.